All right, is that doing its thing? Doing its thing, I believe. 1436, word. Okay, close that. That's how, oh, show's on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Houston with a Problem. It is a Wednesday. Got a little hour-long show for you. And then I gotta go mow the lawn. How's everyone doing? Doing all right? Doing okay? Reading the news and going, like I do most of the time? Welcome to my world. Update. We raised so far $1,436 for Save the Children. And again, out of the 50 Charity Tuesday shows we've done or so, Save the Children again reached out and thanked us for our donations. Again, they are the only charity ever to thank us for doing a Charity Tuesday. I usually, if I can, I tag the charities on social media, and their social media presence actually pays attention and say, thank you so much. They wrote me a lot of nice notes, and they commented on our video saying thank you. So there you go. Save the Children is not just a wonderful organization, but they actually make the effort to thank us for donating to their cause. So, yay. Back into the regular news. The executive director of the Port of Los Angeles was on CNBC earlier today. He basically said that American retail stores have 5 to 7 weeks of full inventory left, and then we're going to be hitting scarcity. This is taking consideration that they did a whole bunch of buying before the tariffs hit back in March. Shipping was up 7 to 15% at ports across the U.S. in March. And then after Liberation Day, a huge drop-off started to happen. And a lot of ships that left before Liberation Day, which was April 2nd, they are grandfathered in. So if you left and you were on the water before the tariff announcement, when you reach here, you don't have to worry about the tariffs added to your products. Ships that left after that, they are subject to the tariffs. And the tariffs are not just on products. There's also a $1.5 million tax on any ship which was built in China. So if you come to a port, there's an extra port fee of $1.5 million to be allowed to dock to offload your cargo into this country. This is some sort of weird vain attempt to try and convince everybody to use American-made ships, but those don't exist. American-made cargo vessels of that scale do not exist. We do not have the capacity to make them. We do not own or have the dry docks to build them. They don't exist. Any of our large dry docks are used to build military vessels. So either you want us to build aircraft carriers or you want us to build one cargo ship every 5 to 15 years, which is about what our capacity is at the moment. Chinese shipbuilding is where ships are built because that's where the dry docks are. That's where the skilled laborers are. That's where the engineers are. So the ships we do have are teeny tiny in comparison. These are ships that go between here in Alaska, here in Hawaii, here in Puerto Rico. If a ship is not built in China, but has Chinese parts of any kind, then it's an $800,000 port fee. So if you go to vesselfinder.com and you watch the ships as they move across the ocean, up here in the Northwest, you will see the ships as they come in. They may have originally had a port destination of Seattle, Tacoma, or Olympia in the Puget Sound, and they're diverting north and going to Vancouver. So because they don't want to pay that $1.5 million port fee. They'd rather have their crews get paid to sit and wait at anchor for a spot to open up in Victoria or Vancouver. And this is because it's cheaper than paying that $1.5 million fee. So we're seeing these shipping just fall off a cliff. Next week, I believe, or this week, the expected ships arriving at Port of Long Beach, Port of Los Angeles are expected to drop by 36%, and then 50-something% by the week after that. The ships that are coming are not coming from China. They're coming from Malaysia, Vietnam, elsewhere. And even then, those ships are 30% fewer containers on them. So Now what? What do we do now? Well, there's going to be some time people kind of wait and see what happens. Trump, he everything is whimsical with him. He can do anything on a whim, and he's a wild card. So you have no idea if he's going to scrap tariffs tomorrow, if he's going to make double them. So investment in building a factory, in looking for new sources, it could bite you in the ass. Because let's say that your company importing some sort of widget, and you're like, crap, we get all our widgets from China. They're all stuck in the port of Shanghai. They're not going anywhere. We can't afford the tariffs on these things. Let's go on. Let's find new contractors. So we find, I don't know, a maker in Italy that makes the exact same thing, but they're a little more like handcrafted, artisan. They cost 15% more, but it's better than paying 145% more. And so you end up ordering your widget from Italy, and it gets thrown on a ship and waltz across the ocean. Trump goes, psych, tariffs are gone. And you go, fuck, I could have just bought these stupid things from China, right? You're not going to invest in products if you have no idea if you're getting a good deal or not. So you're just going to be kind of paralyzed between a rock and a hard place. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Should I stay or should I go now? That's kind of where we are in this. Like today, Trump was musing about getting rid of tariffs entirely on vehicles after yesterday saying that the tariffs would apply to foreign-owned companies who made their cars here in the United States, such as Volkswagen, BMW, Toyota. Subaru and Nissan already said, fuck this. And they're closing their plants and laying off 40,000 workers. Why? Because so many of their parts come from overseas, because they've got supply chains all over the world, and they assemble those cars here, that they're like, we're going to be paying that tariff anyway. We may as well streamline this thing and have everything built back in Japan and not have to worry about shipping these parts all over the place, because that's an added cost. So they would rather just take the blank tariff and make the cars in Japan and then bring them in here than worry about employing 40,000 Americans and having this whole supply chain issue get tariffed like crazy. So they're killing American manufacturing capacity. They're just absolutely vaporizing it. Stuff is not going to get built here. It's just not going to get built. Period. So what? So now what? Spy goes, shoots right up today. In other news, Toyota announced a partnership with Waymo to produce self-driving cars on the Toyota platform. Waymo actually has successful self-driving vehicles, so another death knell for Tesla there. Anything else to add, Monkey? Baseball news, Jorge Polanco apparently is a Superman now that he has his knee repaired, and for some reason the Mariners aren't playing him today. I don't know why they do that. The dude hits 2 home runs yesterday and gets all 5 RBIs. They're like, take the day off. That's not how you treat a player when they're hot, man. You play them. You play that player who's hot. Oh, well, at least they're in first place. They're tied. They're tied just when I look now. I have no idea what they're doing right now. Anywho, bam. Ooh, the charity one is still on. Oops. And off. There we go. Everything's off. No charity one's going to play. We're good. Eric D just sent a super chat. Said, your birthday's coming up. Any plans? Well, my birthday's always coming up because every day is my birthday, apparently. But if I were to dream a little dream, I mean, if I get some cash together that I want to throw at it, but then again, I need to get a war rig. It's been way too long. Go to Whistler and do some skiing, some spring skiing. But, yeah. Probably get a truck first. There we go. Yeah. Kelly Reed first. Kelly Reed also. GDP falls 0.3%. Quarter 2 going to be because quarter 1 didn't bring in Trump's Liberation Day in April. Buckle up, hard crash inbound. Not that we've been saying this for years. We'll ask soon. Well, the Atlanta Fed calculated quarter 1 as a minus 2.5%. And Hesed already said that expect a revision on the GDP calculations. So we shrunk this quarter. If we shrink, or this last quarter, if we shrink quarter two, we're officially in a recession. Recession is 2 quarters of contraction in a row. I would believe that we've dropped 2.5% versus 0.3. Tourism alone is probably enough to justify that much of a contraction, or the lack thereof. But yeah, the market's being kept afloat on magic at this point. So I don't know. I don't know how or why it's up the way it is. I mean, there was like a blast off right at the close today. On what news? Like, I don't know. Maybe Trump will cancel some tariffs and then, but that doesn't mean people want our products anymore. They're still pissed at us. They're still going to avoid us whenever they can. The damage has been done. We are now a poison brand. The United States of America has broken the trust thermocline, and I don't know if we'll ever be able to get back. Canada is thumbing their nose at us, rubbing our face in the fact that Carney is basically telling Trump to go fuck himself. And Trump's like, we're going to be 51st state. And Canada's like, good luck with that, poor people. So, I don't know, it's weird. Recession Studios, damn, not first. That's true. I'm Recession Studios. I've stopped contributing my 401k for the time being. Seems like it would just be setting it on fire in the next 6 months. I want to stop living through the emperor without clothes story. Oh, my 401k, I sold everything. It's just cash sitting in there. I sold all that in January. So my retirement accounts are basically cash at this point. I'm just doing exactly what Berkshire Hathaway is doing. It's all cash. I'll wait for the great crash because the drops we've had so far, they've been way too temporary and unserious, right? They're based not upon what's actually coming, but like I've said, whimsy. They're based on the whim of this one guy possibly changing his mind in a moment's notice. And then so like it's dropping, but they're like, wait, maybe he's gonna reverse course. And he's like, oh, maybe I'm gonna reverse course. Goes, oh, we're gonna go right back to where we were. And he's like, maybe not. They're like, oh no. Eventually it's just going to eat away. And as the quarterly reports start coming out and they start being worse and worse and worse, and you start seeing on TV news empty shelves and people fighting over stuff and, you know, delinquent payments on credit cards and mass layoffs and, you know, truckers protesting and screaming and port workers with nothing to do. That's when I think the suits on Wall Street will finally go, oh my, we may have gotten this all wrong. Yeah, it's doom and gloom. That's where we're going on this. Definitely doom and gloom. So, King Ding Dong. Houston needs an intern. I do. Also, this is the bread man. I'm still looking for crumbs. Oh, Derek Colhorst. All right. Do you ever regret using your real name on YouTube? I mean, people would dox me and find out anyway. I don't give a shit. I am blessed with not really caring too much about the stalkers and the, like, yeah, I gotta deal with them. That kind of sucks, but I was gonna have to deal with them anyway, and whatever. So I just, it happens. Giga Shukla. Super Chat's kind of shady that tech companies are reporting profits. Yeah. Some of them seem a little sketchy in their reporting numbers, right? Like, advertising is definitely dropping because people don't have the money left to advertise. It's one of the things you cut out of the way is that you just trust your existing client base and hope to squeak by because you can save millions of dollars a year that way. I wonder if they're doing kind of magic like Tesla, where they're like putting off losses as undeclared and or not realized, and they're using like weird investment schemes they have to make it look like that they have more than they do. I am curious how it's working. Okay. Murph. When your real name seems like a great stage name, though. That's true. They did give me a good name for being a guy who talks to a wall all day long on the internet. Alex Bishop is here. Not Your Friend is here. Brendan Wells is here, wondering about BBY No Labs. Same as yesterday, I assume. And King Ding Dong from Chattanooga. Not Your Friend. Love the name. Ferris F. It would be nice if you bring Peruvian Bull to the show. Let's see what he thinks about the economy. GMC. Jimmy, I haven't had him on since last year, so I should bring him on. I'll reach out. And ask him if he wants to come on again. That's a good idea. I haven't had a guest in a while. I need to have guests more. If the intern was around, they'd probably make sure I get that scheduled more. I also got put in contact with the former commissioner, with a former commissioner of the Port of Seattle. So I might have him come on and talk about shipping too. He made some posts on social media basically affirming what I've been saying, is that ships from China just aren't coming in anymore. And if they are coming to the West Coast, they're going to Canada. So, we get the actual experts in here and talk about this stuff. Snort Alert's here. Truth Seekers here. Kelly Reed. So Treasury Secretary Scott wants everyone to be financially literate in schools. Good. Teach them about tariffs and how dumb the orange orangutan is. It wouldn't be great to make people financially literate in schools. One of the ways we could afford to do that is if we didn't eliminate the Department of Education. There's one way you can make, like, the financial literacy of affording schools for children seems to be a very smart investment for our country. But no, they use DEI or whatever they're complaining about and just vaporizing schools in the process. Nonomoth Houston. I'm in a simulation of a cruel joke. Bad GDP should mean upside down, but we're at highs. Yeah. The market is completely detached from reality. And one of the problems, I think, is the fact that rich people have gotten so rich. I've talked about this before. You get to a certain level of wealth, you cannot spend it anymore, and you run out of things to invest in. Right? So you need to pour money into something. And to do that, you pour into everything, which causes everything to float up. That's the entire point of these giant index funds with BlackRock, etc. You just keep putting money in there. Keep putting money in their BlackRock account, your Vanguard account, etc. State Street, name it. And they got to put that money somewhere else. So it ends up becoming like a permanent buyer happening for the markets from these really, really rich people because they have nowhere else to put it. And so it'd be like there's what would be a good example? You're in a town of 100 people. Now, 99 of those people have $1, and one person has $100 million. Right? And that one person with $100 million are like, I need to do something with this. And so they buy up all the homes, all the businesses, all the cars, everything. They buy up everything in that town, and the price goes up through the roof on everything because the supply and demand, right? There's so much demand from this one person investing in everything, even though no one else is actually buying any of it. So these rich people, these filthy, 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 filthy rich people with their hedge funds and their index funds and everything else, they're buying up everything because they need to put their money somewhere. And more cash comes in, and so they got to put that cash somewhere. And then more cash comes in, and they're running out of good things to put their money in, and they're putting it in everything. So you see the private equity guys buying up all the HVAC stores and all the plumbers and all the pet veterinary clinics, and they're just buying up everything. And the price of these securities then don't become representative of what the securities do, but more representative of the fact that rich people have too much money and just keep dumping it into these securities. Does that make sense? That might make sense to you. So now the securities are completely unrelated to the performance of the underlying stock that they represent. So that's the best way I can explain that one. Chris Taylor got here just in time. Fantastic. And I'm off. Do you believe in the simulation theory? Are we somebody's Sims character? I've seen what happens to them. No. I mean, we're all Sim characters. We're just like 3-pound bags of fat playing Human Simulator all day long. This is my biomech suit that I'm in. But nah, I don't think we're in some simulation. If you ever played a video game, at some point that thing crashes and crashes hard. Just glitch, and you see someone just like blinking in and out of existence. No one has the ability to program something so smooth at such a high frame rate for it to work like this. There isn't a processor in the world that can do that. Chris Taylor, GDP takes a shit. Spy closes green. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Microsoft smashes it. I guess that means red? Nope. I'm going to bet on that. It's the Meadows, Houston. Hope you and Monkey are doing well. What's your thoughts on Spy tomorrow after Meta and Microsoft earnings today? Probably more green. My guess is that the market's going to keep pushing green for the most part for the next, I don't know, week or two, leading up to when the reality of us running out of things starts to hit us. We're very reactionary to the crisis as it happens or when it's happening, and not to the crisis coming ashore. Right? We're just not good at preventative maintenance in this country. We're really good at disaster response, or we were until we cut all the disaster responders. But, you know, a smart economy would say, hey, maybe slicing up all these mortgages and packaging them together with a whole bunch of subprime stuff and then selling them to, teacher retirement funds and pensions and everything like that is probably not the best thing to do. But we did it anyway, right? Because somebody can make quick bucks. So fuck everyone else. There's a loophole. Let's do it. We're good at exploiting the loophole. We're terrible at the preventive maintenance. And that makes us really good at sort of reacting to the crisis as it happens, and really, 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 really bad about the warning signs of it coming. And the warning signs, red flags are everywhere. They're just waving around, red flags, red flags, red flags. And everybody has blinders on, and they are just ignoring them, thinking, oh, we're going to pump the stock price some more. And that's where we are. So, but Monkey is doing well. You are doing well, right, Monkey Dog? You're a happy dog. Got you fat and happy, right? After her second chemo, she lost a lot of weight. And I don't know if it was the chemo or the fact that she was so tired and stressed out from like 4 hours of driving on windy roads down to her chemo appointment and back. And she just like had to like take in her collar. And I was like, oh man, this dog's getting really squinty. So I've been fattening her up, and it's been working, right? Feeding you all sorts of good stuff, and you're super happy about it. Even though she's still showing me her butt. But a cute little butt. Titleus. Happy birthday. Thank you, Titleus. Numoth. Thought the same thing, Chris. Yep. Grape Knowles. First? No. Chris Taylor. Wow, that's definitely green. This is a very green shirt, isn't it? And it's got underneath I've got a unicorn. Freely Wheelie Houston, what do you know about gold mines in Kitsap County on Gold Mountain? I heard there's mine shafts filled with large whip spiders. There are spiders in there, and there is gold. You guys can get me off track here. We're gonna talk about gold mines in Kitsap County. Bam, there we go. Okay, so there's actually a couple mines. This gold mine is actually a tin mine as well. If you want rare earths, you can probably find them here in Kitsap County, because usually tin is associated with rare earths. So, this area here, it's green, blue, and gold mountains. They're more like hills than anything else, and they're mostly basalt. You can see from the relief, they aren't particularly tall. They do have some good hikes up here. There's a dam and a little lake up here. But on this one is Gold Mountain. There is, the Gold Mountain Golf Course is here, but the Gold Mountain is actually on this side. And Tin Mine Lake is here. You got Tin Mine Lake. This is Gold Creek, and then Tin Creek also comes off this way. So Gold Creek comes down, and then Tin Creek is somewhere over here. The gold mine itself is closer to the lake here at the top. I wonder if we can be able to see. I don't know if with this particular relief if we'll be able to see the actual hole. Maybe someone's got a photograph of the mine. Beaver Tom between Green and Gold Mountains. Somewhere along here. I went up there maybe 10, 15 years ago. Technically, it's private land, but no one really cares if you climb up there because it's owned by like timber companies. So you can kind of head up there. It's if you go up Gold Creek, you end up hitting it somewhere up here. There is somebody supposedly working it, but I did not see any evidence of that when I was there years ago. I'd have gone panning all through different creeks up here. And I didn't find any gold. Even on Gold Creek, I didn't find any gold on Gold Creek. So, but there's historically a gold mine here. And then people were mining tin out of Tin Mine Creek, or Tin Creek, which I think is this one here. Even though it says Tin Mine Lake, but the tin mine was somewhere along here. That's it as far as I know for minerals in Kitsap County. Most of the minerals in gold mining are out in the Cascades or in Okanagan, which are technically part of the Rockies up here. And then there has been gold in historic mines in the Cascades, sort of up the Dungeness River, which is here. It's the Dungeness River. There are some silver mines that were up here, but now it's all wilderness habitat. Can't do anything. There's a couple of old gold mines up the Quinault, which is this one? Or is that one? Oh, Quinault. Which one are you? You are Elkhorn Campground. Dozy Wallops. Oh, it's the Dozy Wallops. So Quinault must be this one. I had a coworker who got into panning and gold mining after having some conversations with me, and they were building a new bridge, I believe, right in here. That's Jackson Creek. No, that's Jackson Creek. I want Quinault, dude. Quinault. Am I wrong? Is Quinault this one? Quilcene. What are my maps? Anyway, there's a new bridge being built on 101, and they dug these giant, like 20-foot holes and scooped out all this old river material to put the pilings in. And he went out with a metal detector and just got all sorts of gold nuggets out of what they dug out for that to build those big pilings for the bridge. So that's cool. I've gotten gold there, and I've gotten beach gold out on the coast here. And the beach gold probably comes from two areas. Probably comes from river systems taking it down, and then the waves actions concentrating on the shore, and then the action of the subduction zone where the plates meet and the oceanic plate dives underneath. What happens is that there's actually high gold concentration in the spreading ridge in this guy here. These are volcanic vents, right? They're shooting out hot stuff all the time, and in it are hot metals as well. So a lot of gold and stuff like that comes out, and then this is called the accretion prism. This is all the stuff that's getting scraped off as that plate dives down, and the accretion prism has a decent mineral content in it, so there's gold in there too. But most of the mining I do, I've got claims that are up in North Cascades and Twisp on the Twisp River, and between Twisp and Carlton here on the Methow. Lots of good gold there, and it's just in the summertime it's a great place to go. So that's where most of my gold claims are up here. Nice big gold. It's like 90 degrees in August, and it's really nice to be in a river then. So, but recently it's all on fire every time I try to go. So, oops. Anywho, yeah. I was never sure of the name of the spiders in the gold mine in Kitsap. I don't know what the name of the gold mine is. We just call it gold mine. The gold mine. I don't know if there's an actual name to it. Great Knowles. What's the best case scenario payout for BPYQ? Game theory on the delicious best case tendies. Oh my, happy birthday, 2. Well, that involves a calculator game, which we can always jump over to, which involves turning Google Earth off. Calculator on. Okay. The best case scenario involves a very small share count. So on the bad side of the share count is if HBC gets all those shares that they got from those warrants, and the total shares outstanding is something like 750 million. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario is that was all trickery to do things to the shorts and make things weird, or HBC gets punished for having that many shares and they get deleted from existence, etc. And the share count ends up being between 90 and 117 million. So we'll go with that. The 90 to 117 million shares. Cool. Okay. So hundreds of millions of dollars of claims have been thrown out in the recent weeks. That leaves maybe $1 billion due. So we got maybe $1 billion due to creditors that exist now. That would be bondholders, administrative, Philo, DIP, those guys. It looks like we've got more than that in recovery coming by far. We've got hundreds of millions of dollars from shippers who screwed us over. We've got a settlement coming from, it looks like, from the board, who are getting sued for violating their fiduciary duty with all those billions of dollars in stock buybacks, which might be backed by a settlement from JP Morgan to avoid, a RICO case, which they would definitely lose because there is plenty of evidence showing that they were colluding with the board to screw over the shareholders, essentially. And that could be in the neighborhood of a couple billion to up to $11.8 billion or more, because if there's a RICO involved, the fines end up becoming 3 times as much as the violation was. So if the violation was $2 billion, then the fines could be $6 billion, right? If they were $11.8 billion, then you're looking at $35 billion in possible fines. So my guess is a settlement might be pretty huge. And if that's the case, let's just say it's $10 billion as a settlement. That means $1 billion goes to pay off the creditors, and they might get shares out of this instead of getting cash, and leaves $9 billion or so for like 117 million shares. So 9 billion divided by 117 million. And looking at $76 a share off that alone. $76 a share. That means if you're at, 15,000 shares, you're at about $1 million in cash. Cool. Awesome. Fantastic. And if there's a cash payout, and in the ideal situation, the nulls and the operating losses are going to be obtained by somebody doing some sort of reverse merger here, then it's very likely we get cash plus equity in whatever the new formation of this company is, whether it's a SPAC or just a straight reverse merger into another corporation. And they get billions of dollars in nulls. Those nulls, those net operating losses, for 2023 were estimated at 1.6 billion. That's just their losses in 2022, 1.6 billion. 2023, the losses were like 2.3 billion before they finished the year. And the losses the years previous to that were about $1 billion a year going back to 2018, which comes to about $10 billion in net operating losses over that period of time. If that's the case, then a company like GameStop, which makes $130 million a year in profit, right? So if you got $10 billion, $10 billion divided by 130 million means at 76 again. Basically, at current earnings pace, GameStop could go 76.9 years without ever paying taxes, just by absorbing those nulls as they are now. And never changing, never having growth, etc. Blah blah blah. Basically, just never pay taxes again for any of our lifetimes. So that's the draw of taking on nulls like that. But in order to utilize those nulls shareholders must be given equity in the company. You can't just like take the company out of bankruptcy and not give the shareholders anything. They must have equity in whatever this new venture is going to be. And that can cause big old price jumps alone. When Washington Mutual went bankrupt, they had a couple $1 billion in nulls. It took years. I think they went bankrupt in fall 2008, and they finally turned into the SPAC in like 2012, 2013, and the share price was $74 a share when it finally came out. And this is a stock that went below a penny at one time in like 2009. It was below a penny. So that's a huge, 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 huge jump. Now, with a company like GameStop, depending on how this would emerge, right? So let's say all the Bed Bath holders get $76 a share, $94 a share if there's 90 million shares. They get a lot of money. They have hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some of them have millions. Some of them have hundreds of millions of dollars. Because there are shareholders that have been in the chat that have 4 million shares. They're going to be very, 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 very wealthy, instantaneously cash rich. That does a huge amount of damage to shorts. People who shorted the stock now owe $76 on a stock they may have been shorting at 4 cents at one point, right? So if all of a sudden you owe $76 for every 4 cents you shorted, you're toast. And now your prime broker is toast because they don't have the cash for that either. And so that starts creating sell-offs along the market and the forced closure of positions, which causes buying of shares, right? And that makes the stock price go up. So if you have a company like Bed Bath that may have as many as like 5 billion short shares out there that you owe $76 on every single one of them. So you now owe hundreds of billions, 350 to $400 billion on these payment in lieu for distribution of cash. And then the company, Bed Bath does a reverse merger into someone like GameStop or whoever, and all of a sudden all those Bed Bath shares become GameStop shares, which are instantly worth like $27. Now you got to go into the market and buy 5 billion of them when only 600 million of them exist in reality. So now you're looking at huge buy pressure, the stock price going through the roof on these forced closures, having to provide all this cash that doesn't exist to the shareholders, and you're in a runaway zone. It'd be absolutely diabolical. And on top of that, they could issue warrants. Give them a 1-for-1 at GameStop, and then give them all a 1-for-1 warrant on the stock price at some ridiculously low price. So let's say GameStop stock's trading at $27. You give them a warrant at $15. You let them buy it for a penny, right? And now each one of those warrants is worth $12 instantly. So if you get $76 cash plus another $12 in warrant, and the stock price starts flying, and those warrants are worth a gajillion dollars, and now they got to go into the market and buy those warrants at a premium because they got to provide them to all the naked shares they created and the short shares they created. You've made a monster, an absolute monster, where the price after 90 days at the minimum, not probably the latest, the price starts shooting up to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. While a bunch of folks could possibly, have 5 figures or more in shares in GameStop as a result, and they bought all these things basically at 20 cents, 10 cents, 15 cents, 4 cents, 7 cents, depending on when in that bankruptcy cycle they were buying this stuff. It can be a monster. And, for me, the $3,000 I invested in my 15,000 or so shares seems like a pretty good deal to me. It's giving me something to talk about for a couple of years, for one. So the entertainment expense is there. And two, the potential of a reemergence is so awesome that if they do that, yay, right? So, you think it's cool. 4-wheel drive RV. That's the goal. Juice Miami, speaking of GME, has announced its annual meeting on June 12th, 2025 at 10 a.m. So the question shall be, will we be running by then? Because remember last year, we were running really, really hard, and then, you know, a week before the meeting, they diluted 75 million shares and went. So will we be running? Will they do the meeting and our stock price is like at then, or are they going to let it explode? That will be interesting. Very interesting. Seagill, happy early birthday. Did I get it right? Nope. Andrew Stewart, Houston. It's looking like the Rockies, maybe worse than 24 White Sox. It seems to be hard to be that bad. The Rockies are projected to win 24 games on this season out of 162. So, yeah. 138 losses. That's going to be pretty darn rough to overcome. They may as well sign me at this point. I can lose games with the best of them, and I'll gladly earn league minimum. What is league minimum right now? Like $400,000? MLB league minimum salary. $760,000. Okay. So, yes, Rockies. I will give up home runs, hits, walks, bean batters. You will be guaranteed to lose those 138 games if I can get a league minimum $760,000 salary. Right? I'm washed up. I'm 43, almost 44 years old. I can still throw 86 when I'm in shape. Right? My guess is that these hitters are so used to like seeing 100 miles an hour. I'll throw up 45 miles an hour for you. They'll pop it straight up in the air. They'll ground to the third baseman by topping it. They'll pull it into the visitor's dugout. So yeah, I can do that for you. I will sacrifice myself. I will travel with the team. I will move to Colorado if I have to. But yeah, I will gladly, willingly give up a whole bunch of runs a game for $760,000 for 6 months worth of work. You put me in relief. I'll do it every day. You can start me. I'll do it every 5 days. I don't care. But yeah, please, by all means, I can produce the same results you're getting now, the players you have, and technically at a discount because only $760,000. So, what do you think, Monkey? You want to be a Colorado dog? Think you can handle that? You've been to Colorado before. I don't remember it, but yeah, she's been to Colorado. She likes it. She likes mountains. Chris Taylor says, make America USSR circa 1970 again. There's going to be so much brown, so much like baby poop green and dirt brown, everything. Countertops, cars, fake paneling, bread lines. It's just this dim brown everything. That's our future. That's why I'm wearing electric green today. Rave green, whatever you call it. Lime green. Just Miami contradicting Trump. U.S. Trade Representative Greer says there have been no trade talks with China. Read tomorrow, or China's been saying there's been no trade talks. Our trade representative has been saying there's no trade talks, and Trump's like, no, we've had trade talks, and we're now talking with 200 countries, even though 193 exist. And no, we're not. Like whenever he says we're having talks with Japan or India, I don't think we are. Honestly, I think what's happening is the entire world is reorganizing their wealth structures and their economies to not have to do business with the United States. That we're such a wild card that there's no point. You might as well just be hands off and be like, you weirdos do your thing. We'll let the black market people and the smugglers deal with everything else. Just like we do with Russia or North Korea or Cuba or Iran or Venezuela. Those folks can just, do whatever it is they do. Yeah. Since we're talking sports, this is from Chris Taylor. Since we're talking sports, Jeff Spurbeck dies after falling out of a golf court reportedly driven by John Elway in Southern California. Fumble. I did not hear about that. Agent Jeff Spurbeck dies after golf cart accident involving John Elway. Goodness gracious. Spurbeck suffered serious injury after falling out of a golf course Saturday. His friend, business partner, and former client John Elway was driving. Elway called 911 after the accident happened. Authorities are investigating the accident. The investigation is purely informational, reports TMZ. Elway, Spurbeck, their wives, and Elway's son were riding on the golf cart when Spurbeck fell from the vehicle and struck his head. Spurbeck had been on life support until his passing on Wednesday morning. We send condolences to the Spurbeck family. Goodness gracious. What a waspy way to go. That's crazy, man. How'd you go? I died golf cart accident. Like, was he going over a jump or nope? Just fell out of the golf cart. If you're John O, you'd probably feel pretty terrible. I wonder if you were corning hard or went over a bump or something. But it's rough. That's rough, and he's in the rough. Okay. Frozen Productions, what are the odds the Timberwolves send the Lakers home for the season tonight? I do not pay enough attention to basketball anymore since the Sonics left. Well, Timberwolves up 3-1. My guess is that it doesn't look like the superstars and the Lakers are gelling at all right now, if they're obviously down 3-1. What do the analysts say here? Apparently they have no defense, which people have talked about Luka not being a defensive player at all. So, yeah. Well, there you go. Defense. There's no defense really in the NBA at this point. And everyone travels and no one gets called for it. And they double dribble all the time and no one gets called for it. Just like, I would love to see the fundamentals of basketball change. It'd probably be more interesting to watch for me if they forced a little more creativity in play by enforcing double dribbles and traveling. I know there's a gather step and you get 2 steps after that, but I'm watching these dudes sometimes do 3, 4, 5 steps before going for a layup or a shot or a dunk and just call them for it. I see them like get the ball, dribble, hold the ball, watch, dribble again, and they're not getting called for double dribbles. I played the Nintendo game Double Dribble. I own Double Dribble. It's over in the living room. You would get called for double dribble constantly in the game Double Dribble. All the time. It was like the number 1 call you get playing a game called Double Dribble. And so it made you acutely aware of how you should not double dribble. And yet, every highlight reel I see out of the NBA is some dude double dribbling or traveling. And just just so obvious carrying the ball. Just stop it. Dribble down. When you gather the ball, you stuck pivoting, and that's it. Just go from there, and then let the creativity game. Like, you can't defend against. The reason why there's no double dribbling and there's no traveling allowed is because you can't defend against that. So if you want defense to go up, well, allow people to defend against the plays. Where to wander? South Korea is the West's shipbuilder. South Korea built a lot of them. Seems like, I know like Samsung and Hyundai and stuff have big production facilities. In the East, lol. J-Dog. I was about to talk Mariners, wasn't he? Yes. Mariners just broke 3-3 tie in the 8th, up 9-3. Go Mariners. Oh, well, there you go. They finally put Polanco in. Okay, says, wait, you moved, but the room is still set up the same as before? Sort of. The desk and this are in the same spot. The cabinet here. Cabinet. And there's things inside the cabinet. The room is smaller. And what I did was some of the bookshelves are in storage. And before, in the past, there was a bookshelf on the wall behind the cabinet and then bookshelves all the way back here. But right now, I've got this desk set up. And that desk is going to be, once I need to build some things and get some storage done. Ideally, that's going to be where I put in the shipping label printer, the scale, and then use like for my gemology. Got this thing in the plastic wrap there. That's a gem microscope, so I can do my gem science back there as well. And then I got these little shelves that used to be in my old guest room, and then I've got a lot of books in storage because, well, I can't fit them all here at the moment, and that's just what you got to do. But yeah, but this part's also the same, the monkey butt bed, but the room's a lot smaller. The ceiling's a lot taller, but the room is a lot smaller. There's actually a couple windows. There's a window behind the desk here, so there's light that hits my head here. The hutch of the desk is kind of blocking it. But yeah. So same-ish setup. Door's kind of in the same spot. It's a little bit further away because there's like a tiny little almost hallway to the door. BDB Brand, he's a man of familiarity. It's true. Mark Kirkpatrick, I heard Mazda was also leaving its manufacturing in the U.S. as well because of U.S. High parts prices. I mean, I don't blame them. If you're going to have to pay through the nose or just streamline your production, you're just going to streamline your production if you got to pay for it all anyway. That'll save you a bunch of money in the long run. You aren't getting the benefits of the tax breaks of building in the U.S. anymore because you're dealing with a child who doesn't understand anything. You may as well just go, fuck it. We'll sell what we sell to the United States, what they allow us to import. If people want it, they'll buy it. If not, oh well, we're just going to write off the United States as a consumer market from this point forward. Sometimes Sommelier, what's up with Finger? Finger went up again today. It's at 220 or so. I don't really know what's up with them. There's a couple of brokerages that aren't really allowing you to buy it. You got to call and make an order, and they like try to shame you for making an order. But you weren't able to get through the brokerage. I think on shitty brokers like Robinhood and Schwab, who just don't care unless you do anything, you can buy. But they went from $1 something to like 220. They hit $2 and bounced back down again the other day, but looks like they're making another rush at it. I know folks like Ham Short Killer out there are like, it's gonna go to $1 million. I have no idea if that's the case. I don't follow it close enough. I bought a few just in case. But my attention pretty much lies elsewhere at this point. Where to wander, algorithms trading with and against each other is why. Talking about Finger on that one. Crusader, I can't believe it's almost a year since you bought the convertible. Well, I bought it more than a year ago, but I didn't fix because it was an auction buy. So I've been rear-ended in the bumper, so I had to replace the bumper and pull out the dent where the taillight was, put a new taillight in, and then you got to schedule with the state troopers to have them do an inspection of the car and go, yes, that is no longer a pile of parts. Stamp, that is a car. You may now legally drive it. So it took a long time. At minimum, maybe the least amount of time you can do from scheduling, have that inspection, about a month. So like the car was drivable in like March of last year. Legal, I mean, you could drive it anytime you want, but like had all the legal components and everything fixed on it in maybe March, and it was like the last week of May when finally I got the stamp of approval from the state troopers and I could drive on the road, which is perfect timing because everything got sunny and warm, and then I just drove around the top everywhere, and then as a result of driving around the top everywhere, I left the top down and rain got in, and now I've got an electrical gremlin that won't stop bothering me, and so now at night I have to just plug a charger into the battery because something is on at all times, sucking energy out of the battery, and yeah, well, that's what you get for not putting the top up when you park the car overnight. Be around that shirt. How does the color not rub off on everything it touches? It rubs off in the form of a smile of everyone who sees it. Darren says is it probable a hedge fund like Kenny G's Citadel is artificially supporting the market for Trump? Honestly, I don't know. Kenny G and Ken Griffin and Citadel today sent a letter to the SEC being like, you need to do something about these 24-hour markets and dark pools. Aren't you the one who asked for 24-hour markets and dark pools? Like, this is that stupid PSA from my childhood. I remember guys showing this to you a few weeks ago, where this kid and his friend like snapped the antenna off a car and like, check this out, right? And then the next scene is him getting in the car with his dad, and they turn on the radio and the antenna's missing, and the kid's like, oh. That is Ken Griffin. Ken Griffin snapped the antenna off the car, and now he's like, what the fuck? I can't listen to the radio. Dude, you did it to yourself. You're the one who pushed for 24-hour markets. You're the one who pushed for dark pools. And now you're complaining that there's 24-hour markets and dark pools? Anyway, Chris, I know Health and Human Services and other agencies were pumping cash into the cloud. Not anymore. Will that be reflected next quarter? Just wait. Well, John Oliver went over this pretty well on Sunday. He was talking about the numbers, and for every dollar NIH spent, National Institutes of Health, generated $2.56 in economic activity. So basically, it was an unreal investment. There's not a hedge fund in the world who can get returns like that. There isn't. Like, hedge funds can barely beat the S&P 500, let alone get 156% returns on every dollar they spend, year in, year out. So, yeah, not having those fundings, closing those labs, getting rid of those epidemiologists, getting rid of the food inspectors, the closure of local and state health departments as a result of losing grants, colleges losing the funding as well, is going to have a very real economic impact. And you're looking at, a glut of highly educated, specific experts all of a sudden not having jobs. And they are looking at leaving the country to follow where the grant money might be. Because now you've got the EU and Canada and Japan and China all being like, come on over. We could use you. We will gladly brain drain the United States. And so the country that was the top researcher in the entire world is now going to lose all of its researchers. And I have little doubt that means that we are going to see a huge dip in productivity, in new products, and new health treatments and drugs, and all sorts of things. Like, think about the investment the U.S. government made into ARPANET in the 60s and 70s. Right? This was so that colleges who worked in energy, specifically nuclear power, in nuclear weapons, let's face it, could communicate with each other. Right? I have a friend who was at University of Illinois Champaign back in the 70s, and that was one of the schools hooked up with ARPANET. And there was literally, you could just go to the computer and start typing, and it would show at a research lab at Duke, and you could have conversations with people that way. They're doing basically instant messaging in 1972, 73 on that system, and it was a research project funded by DARPA, the defense research arm, and specifically so that these schools doing nuclear research could be in communication with each other across the country in real time, not to worry about phone calls or anything else. You could just send the research back and forth and monitor experimentations at other schools in real time. And that became the internet. So we spent a few $1 million developing this system that worked over the phone lines, and that became the internet, which then generated more wealth for this country than anything in human history. Like, so many trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars of GDP and market capital came out of the fact we wanted a couple of nerds at like 10 schools to be able to talk to each other. That was it. And we now have juggernauts like Facebook and Google and Microsoft and Twitter and TikTok and QuickBooks, and just think of the return on that investment. And now the scientists who do research like that are losing all their grants, right? Pharmaceutical companies. Pharmaceutical companies, most of their discoveries aren't their discoveries. It is federal grants from Health and Human Services and NIH going to universities to do the research, the testing, and the exploration. And when something proves successful, that's when some executive at a big drug company goes, hey, how about we help you finish this for a special deal? And then they come over and they're like, look at all that we did here at Pfizer. And it was actually some researcher at the University of Washington or something who did it. So yeah, that's where we are. Chris Taylor, I love that 3 pounds of fat. You got 4 pounds use in fat head. I have a big Irish head. That is true. It has grown over the years. Like, let's see here. I have hats. I have Lewis and Clark hat here. Here we go. Here's a Lewis and Clark hat. All right. This is from my days at Lewis and Clark playing baseball, right? LC. And this hat no longer fits on my head. I was 21, 22 years old when I was playing ball there. My head has grown so much, I cannot, for the life of me, get this hat on my head. It won't do it. And this, what size is this hat? Does it have a size in here? It doesn't even list a size. That's weird. Oh, 7 1/4. 7 1/4. I probably had the biggest head in the team back then with a 7 1/4. I have no idea what size hat I wear now, but I cannot. I can't get it on. I can't get it on all the way. So my big fat Irish head keeps growing, and nothing I can do about that. How does my skull keep growing, dude? I'm not growing anymore. You want to wear it? Yeah? There you go. Okay, fine. Yeah, I got it. I don't know if there's more fat in there, but definitely the skull's gotten thicker, that's for sure. I should probably just drive down to Lewis and Clark and pick up a hat that fits me, and then I can wear it again. Hey, Jedox says Mariners win. Woohoo! And Astros lost, just a little bit better. So there we go. Climbing into the lead further. Louis, don't give the charities the JD Vance treatment. Did you even say thank you? Great show. Keep it up, please. They reached out. I said thank you. They asked me to email them, and they gave me an email address, and I emailed, and it got returned as saying the address doesn't exist. So, perhaps we'll hear more from them. They contacted me on Blue Sky, so I can talk to them that way. Chris Taylor, feels like the good old days when all we talked about was MOAS and geology. Where to wander? Whip spiders are spiders that evolve to look for scorpions, if I remember correctly. Really? I've never seen a scorpion in Western Washington. I've heard of them being in Eastern Washington out in the desert, but never seen them in Western Washington. I guess you go out with a UV light and you can find them that way. They fluoresce under ultraviolet. So if you're in Arizona or something, buy yourself a UV light, a pretty powerful like UV flashlight, and then go in your backyard at night. It will scare the shit out of you. Just believe me, just do it once. Just do it once. Yes. Just Miami threw a green chat out there. Big head time. Yes. Jigashukla super chats. And now the internet companies want to kill government research. That is the most insane thing to me, is that these labs, these internet companies make so much money off of government research labs. These research projects, the PhD projects that they fund, this is where they find all of their brilliant people who make the innovations that make their companies last. I guess they figure if there's no Federal Trade Commission and no antitrust stuff, they can just buy up all the competition and they'll just live that way. Where to wander? Houston, you mentioned getting a war rig. Are you talking about badass PC? If so, why do you game? If so, what games? I got my badass PC back in November. My war rig was my series of Geology trucks. Let's see here. we'll have some war rigs. Gotta go to my profile. How do I go to my profile? There we go. Okay. Gotta scroll down because the last war rig broke back in 2021, and it's been a series of folly ever since then. And I've been doing this show and not doing my rock stuff I should be doing. So yeah, I need a new truck bad. I also went on a bunch of trips instead of getting a new truck. But the war rig was... Wait, are we in 2020? That's 2020. Where's the war rig? That is 2020. Okay, that's 2021. So it should be... There we go. There we go. This is the war rig. Chrome. Gotta go there. Gotta go there. This is my last war rig. It was a 2003 Mitsubishi Montero. Skid plates front to back, rock slides, custom front bumper, winch, snorkel on the back, first aid kit, custom bumper on the back. Inside the war rig. Do I have any? Let's see here from when I was building it. Oh, there's another shot of the war rig. That's when I had the fleet going. So I had the Corvette, the war rig, and the Aurora. Okay, Switzerland. Nope. That's cool cars in London. That's the Corvette. Most of this is Shiny Shirt Week. Here we go. Here's building the war rig. Here's when I got it. So this was what I was going to put on it, and this is how it came. And whoops, that is mold spore. Mold. One sec. And then getting the work done, throwing the bumper on. This is after the cutouts, getting the tires underneath, doing the lift. And then getting the front bumper done on the winch, and then I had to basically I rhino lined everything here, and I'm taking off all the plastic shit that was on there. And this is after doing the rhino lining and fixing it all, putting fender flares on so I don't spray rocks all over the place. And then getting the snorkel on there. And then I did my custom hood. So I wanted to do like a Japanese war flag because it's the Mitsubishi. So I made sort of orange Japanese war flag in black. And then what I did was I did a second one in rhino liner. It's pretty neat. So you had one war flag on this side, and then you had a black sun on the other side in rhino liner going the other way. I thought that was kind of fun. But anyway, that was the war rig. There's your high lift jack on the hood, and then yeah. So, oh yeah, here we go. Here's the inside. Built fridge, boom. Happens there. And then this is a bed, so you can fit your tools and everything you need. You got shelves because I had lots of shovels and things like that. And then I took out the 40% on the 60% on the 60-40 split. And then this is a bed that folds out so that I can sleep back there. And boom, there we go. And it fits someone 6'9" on that seat right there. And that was the last war rig. And this is the one that threw a rod, and I've not had it fixed since. So there you go. So there you go. Juice Man was saying, dude, time. I'm okay. I'm not working tonight, but I am going to wrap up here in a minute or two. Thank you, Julius. Yeah, it was a sweet Montero. The problem was, so the reason why I had a couple F-150s that I built into war rigs, kind of similar ways. The last one, well, I flipped Dentosaurus Rex in the desert. You guys may have heard or seen or saw that story. So here we go. I flipped that sucker in the desert and almost died. I should have died. there's no reason that I live. But for some reason, the truck kept smashing on the passenger side, and the driver's side didn't get hit. I can show the pictures down. Come on, down to the bottom. Come on, go down, go down, go down. So yeah, here are the pictures. You can see that passenger side. If I had a passenger, they would have been popped like a grape. There's this little triangle of life that was over my head. And then this was the photograph of me probably about 5 minutes after the accident when the first truck and human being I'd seen in maybe 4 hours showed up. And there, and I was like, hey, look at me. That's, yeah, I should be dead. So after that, I got, great, now I have to go back to the Instagram page and scroll down so far. Past all the shiny shirt weeks. Past the shiny shirt weeks. Keep going. Keep going past shiny shirt weeks. Shiny shirt week, shiny shirt week. I go back to what, 2015 or so? So let's go back like a decade of shiny shirt weeks. So you can see a lot of shiny shirts swing by here. Where are we, like 2020, 2021, 2020. Okay, there's 2020. There is 2019. Here is 2018. Okay, 2018. Here is 2018, 2018, 2017. Okay, we're getting close. We're getting close here. So then I replaced it with another F-150, which was the first war rig. Okay, that's 2017. Okay. Do I have war rig in here? Nope, no war rig there. 2017. Before I got Monkey Butt her own Instagram. Here we go. Here's this war rig. This was, it's 6-inch lift, 35-inch tires. It did its job. Problem is that the head gasket sprung a leak. And on these bad boys, as wonderful a truck as it was, you cannot access the head gaskets. You can't like take the engine out or even access the head gaskets from the hood. You have to take the entire cab off to get to it. And it was going to be like a $9,000 job. I paid $3,000 for this truck. I'm not spending $9,000 to do that. So I sold the truck and then I bought the other war rig and built it. So this was war rig number 1. There's Dentosaurus Rex, which was the green one. War rig number 1, and then war rig number 2 was the Montero. And currently, I kind of liked having a pickup truck more than the SUV. So I might go back to an F-150. I don't need like a Super Duty or anything like that. Something a little lighter. Gets a little bit better gas mileage, so like a half ton, that's perfect. So like a modern F-150, I'll take it. That'll work for me. Right? Yeah. So that's what it's on the market for. Not something that's this era, although I do like the slopey nose on these ones more than the modern trucks, which have like way too much hood. You can kind of see where you're going and less chance of running over children. But yeah, that works for me. Monkey Butt has a good time in those things. Do we have more war rigs? Let's see here. Well, this is a good shot of Monkey Butt at Giant Rock. This is the largest freestanding boulder in the world. We talked about this one. This is Giant Rock down in, was it Lancaster in Southern California. So that's a cool spot. Do we have more war rig? More shiny shirts, that's for sure. More shiny shirts, more shiny shirts. There's Monkey Butt in the war rig and Cement, Oregon, Ghost Town. And there we are at Pillars of Rome in Oregon. That's a good spot too. Excellent spot. I have no idea. Probably on the road going somewhere in that war rig. Here we go. Here we are in Eastern Oregon as well. It was a good truck. It did a really good job until the head gaskets went puny pop. I like bench seats. I think they're fantastic. Give me column shifters and bench seats, baby. Bench seats. Not only can you make out with a lady more, your dog can sit next to you much more easily, and then she's not slip sliding around trying to put her hand on that stupid console in the middle. It's a big truck. You don't let me sit six people. Anyway, so get yourself a Chevy. I'll get myself whatever, as long as it can clear bumps in the road, get me pretty decent gas mileage. Modern trucks get really good gas mileage. That 2000 F-150 was like 15 miles per gallon. An equivalent now can do like 30. And if you get one of the 3-liter diesels, you can do like 37, especially if you do def delete and EGR delete. So, yeah. That hood will get you deported now. Okay. I can go a little while longer. I got nowhere to be. Where was I? Where was I? Yeah, that was the war rig question. But yes, do I play video games? Yeah. I've been replaying Red Dead Redemption recently. Red Dead Redemption 2. Because apparently there's a lot of stuff I missed. A little Easter eggs. So I'm just going through, finding little Easter eggs here and there. Generally, if I play video games, I kind of like first-person shooters. Those are the ones I like. Or I play GeoGuessr or Solitaire. I am one of the best Solitaire players in the world. One of these days, I'll do it on Twitch. You'll see me play a Solitaire tournament, and I will fucking destroy everybody. I am really, really good at Solitaire. Who'd imagine? Guy with the fat head is good at Solitaire. The Whip Spiders one. Oh, where to wander? I'm wrong. Take what I said. They're scorpions who look like spiders. Oh, pseudo-scorpions. That's what a whip spider is? Noted. Okay. Striker 747, Houston. Do you think tariffs will accurate stock market or Houston? Do you think tariffs will accurate stock market crash? Do you mean tariffs will cause stock market crash? Yes. Mr. JJ's Highcroft mining a buy or not a buy? So we've talked about Highcroft in the past, back when Adam Aaron made that. I got to go back to Google Earth here. When Adam Aaron made that purchase into their mine. So folks were like, oh, there's gonna be lithium there. The lithium is not there. The lithium is up here in this giant lava flow. This is where the lithium is in northern Nevada. This is where they've estimated there's $1.7 trillion in lithium is up in this ancient 16 million year old lava flow. You can kind of see the outline of it here. This valley in particular, this is where the first major lithium mine is opening up. And it's in a clay. And when they found lithium in hard rock, and they found lithium in evaporate materials and like lake beds. They've never found it in a clay before that was made up of basically volcanic ash. And this mine here is GM owns like a controlling stake in the Sawtooth mine, and this started construction. It's gonna be about 2,000 workers working on this mine full time. This started construction last year, I believe, but they're staking claims all over this ancient collapsed caldera because the hard rock and the clay are just absolutely chock full of lithium. It's mostly just ranch land. You can kind of see the lay of the land in this picture here. It's mostly rolling hills, ranch land, scrub land. This is really dry, not very productive. I know the Paiute Indians are really upset about this because this McDermott Crater here is a very sacred site to them. But money's money, and they're taking over. So anyway, you go south. So there's the Black Rock Desert here, right? There's the Black Rock Desert where they do Burning Man and stuff. Burning Man out in this here, Burning Man. Where are you? There's Burning Man. So here's Burning Man here. Overlooking Burning Man is the Highcroft mine, which is this guy. This is the Highcroft mine, and Highcroft Resources Development. It's a big open pit mine. There is a few series of tunnels here. It was mostly high grade ore. That means like you can see the gold native in the rock. You just take the rock out, smash the rock, get the gold out. They basically used up all of the good stuff. And we can start to see here, see these colors, these yellow colors happening in the canyon walls. This kind of yellow, olive green going on here. This is sulfides. These are sulfurs popping up. And sulfides like pyrite, basically. Fool's gold. In fool's gold, you can actually get real gold. They get trapped inside the crystalline structure of the gold. It's really hard to pull the gold out because the sulfides they like to bond with all sorts of stuff. So you have to use crazy chemical processes to get the gold out of it. And the only truly successful mineralogical site on Earth that gets sulfides out is the Kidd Creek mine in Timmins, Ontario. And so what Highcroft has is their processing site is this guy here. See this little building? This little guy right here? This is where they process their ore. And it is, let's just measure it. That's in miles. I don't do miles. I'll do feet because mostly American people here. It is 240 feet long and 100 feet wide. Okay. You know, they're grinding some rocks and they're throwing it in there and then they process it and get their gold out. Cool. But they don't have the capacity to get sulfides out of their rocks. In order to get sulfides out of your rocks, or sorry, the gold out of your sulfides, is you need a facility like this. Here's Timmins, Ontario. You need, that's Lake. Is this the metallurgical site? This is the Kidd Creek metallurgical site. Okay. You need this guy. See this facility here? This facility is getting sulfides out of rock ore from the Kidd Creek mine. It used to be called the Texas Gulf Sulfur Mine. This place is much larger. 600 feet by 500 feet. It is several times larger. It is almost as tall as like a 10-story building. This is a gigantic facility. This here, see all the yellow here? Sulfur, like crazy. This pile in this retention pond, this is the ore they've milled or they mined out of all that material. And it comes on a train. We got some more service stuff here. It comes on a train. So you follow the train tracks, about 10, 15 miles. You end up at the Kidd Creek mine. And the Kidd Creek mine is the deepest hole in the northern hemisphere and the deepest hole in the western hemisphere. It's an open pit mine originally. You can see the open pit here. It goes down several thousand feet. But there's a series of mines, about 2,500 kilometers worth of tunnels that go down to 11,000 feet. It can take a very long time to go up and down from the Kidd Creek mine. It's mostly a base metal mine. They do zinc, copper, some silver, and gold is a byproduct of their operations. They're going mostly for like zinc and copper, but gold, they've produced over 20 million ounces of gold just as a byproduct of their copper and zinc operation, which still makes it one of the largest gold mines in the entire world. And that's just a byproduct of what they're pulling out of there. So Highcroft mining can have that much gold come out of it. You can just see the waste pile from that 2,500 kilometers of tunnels tap under here. So Highcroft mining, they need probably $1 billion cash invested into their mining operation here, just to build a mineralogical site similar to what the Kidd Creek mine has in Canada. And so they don't have that. They don't have enough money for that at all. And otherwise, they cannot get their gold out of all of what they have in their ore. Their ore is pretty rich. Like it has a lot of gold in that sulfide ore. They just don't have the tools or the chemicals or the facility to get it out. So if you're investing in Highcroft mining as to what they have in the ground, cool. But you have to look at it as to, can they get the cash together ever to build a giant facility like that to actually process all that sulfur ore? And again, you can just see all the yellow here. All that yellow. That's all sulfides there. And you can't just smash and run through a sluice that sulfur ore. You need chemical processes to get it out. So I guess you just sort of gotta see if they can do that. I don't know if they can. I don't know if they're gonna be able to squeeze $1 billion out of anybody. Maybe if gold price hit $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 an ounce, you might have someone be like, okay, I'll do it. But at the moment, there has not seemed to have been anybody willing to do that yet. The Highcroft mining operation here, I can't remember all the names that went through, but basically the current entity is like the 6th or 7th owner trying to like milk this dry cow at the moment. Everyone else, the original mine owners got all the easy gold. They're like, we're done. Put it for sale. Someone else bought it, went bankrupt. 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 And this just keeps what keeps happening. Highcroft right now, they've got a pretty good marketing arm convincing people to invest in this, but it does not appear to me that they have done much with regards to actually building a facility that can process this ore. They did file a couple of patents for new ways to process this ore, but again, they don't have the scale to utilize those patents in any way. But, take with that what you will. There's a lot of gold. There's so many gold mining operations across Nevada. You can just go like to there's Welcome, there's Wells, Elko. Here we go. So it's gonna be Round Mountain up here. This is Round Mountain. This is the Barrick Gold one, right? Gold Quarry Security. I think this is the Barrick Gold mine. Round Mountain might be to the south. These are mines getting much easier grades of ore out of their facilities, and they're huge. Lots of big chemical leach, cyanide leach mines. You go down to the Loneliest Highway, Highway 50. So like down here, lots of like Eureka. You can see the evidence of old mining operations and old tunnels and stuff. Got pits here. This one is Ruby Hill Mine. Yeah, here's Ruby Hill Mine. That's a big old pit. There's a lot of easier ways to get gold out of this stuff with more traditional stamp mills and ball mills and all those things. So, wait, why am I here and not in Google Earth anymore? There we go. That's why I want to close that. But there's mines all over Nevada, everywhere. Nevada is probably the largest current gold producer in the United States. Everywhere. Sierra Nevada is all through these. There's gold mines in almost every single one of these mountain ranges you see that just stripe the state of Nevada. There's like lots of places you can go to get gold on your own. So Carson Sink, follow the Carson River up, and then there is a field here where lots of people find gold. What was this place called? It was called Geology books. Here we go. Nugget hunting, gold nugget hunting in Nevada. Come here, book. What's a place called? It's like Pershing. Pershing, that is page. Where's Pershing? Show me the page to go to Pershing. Criterion. Sand Springs. Gold Butte. Searching Placer. Why don't you tell me what page Pershing is in? That's where I want to go. Disclaimer. Give me a table of contents. Holy Cross Mine District. Oh, great. I'm just going to have to Sand Springs, Gold Butte, Searchlight, Mount Siegel, Century, Cope, Gold Circle, Island Mountain, Tuscarora, Van Dozer, Lida, Sylvania, Lynn, Sawtooth, Dutch Flat. Is it Dutch Flat? Is that the one? No, it's not Dutch Flat, is it? Canyon Burner, no, it's not Dutch Flat. Pine Forest, Other Placer, Gold Run, Adelaide. My God, Battle Mountain, Hilltop, McCoy, Buckskin, Yerington, Silver City, East Walker, Hawthorne, Rawhide. Come on, man. Round Mountain. Other discs for Nye County. Cowwitch, Antelope, Placerites, Rosebud. You guys watch me just flip through this thing while I try to find the stupid. It's one of the best places to find nuggets also in the United States, and my brain cannot think of the name at the moment, and it's really, really bothering me. Ball Mountain, Osceola, Snow Placer, Maggie Creek, Buckhorn. Okay, all right, that's what I want. I want Pershing, Nye, Kennedy, White Pine. There we go. Goldbank, Emily Humboldt. Really? Oh, God damn it. What's the name of that thing? It's really bothering me now. What are you called? You are called... Fuck. I'll think of it the minute I leave the show here. But anyway, there's tons of places you can find gold all through this area. You can just see the mineralization from above. I mean, just look at this thing. Look at all the different colors. That tells me that there's a bunch of different minerals all mixing and mashing in here. All these dry washes, when it floods, you can probably find nuggets and other weird stuff. Matter of fact, in my rock collection, which is in a box somewhere, I found like almost a pure aluminum nugget. It's basically like the most pure bauxite I've ever seen in my entire life. Out metal detecting. It made a weird sound. I'm like, what the hell is this? And it was super light, and it was some weird piece of aluminum nugget that I've never seen anything like that before. But anyway, gold is everywhere, and not lithium. This is not lithium out here. The lithium is up north. And Winnemucca is having a huge building boom as a result of that. This little town here, because it's the major town near the McDermott crater. This guy. And this volcanic eruption is what led to out here, Virgin Valley, where my opal claim is. So Virgin Valley, we used to be an old lake, and ashfall fell over the lake and ended up lithifying all sorts of creatures and trees and stuff and turning into opals. So all the opal mines are out here, and my opal mine is so this is the Royal Peacock. Mine is up the road and on this part of the hill here. That's where my opal claim is. But yeah, talking rocks get me totally just off track. But whatever. Dig the doink. You should get the Suburban from the movie Dante's Peak. That'd be fantastic. Jason Blackwell, Rolls Royce Fab 1 Sweet Ride. What do you think? Rolls Royce Fab 1. Let's take a look, I guess. Rolls Royce Fab 1. Is this from TV show? Thunderbirds. Yeah, that's right. Like, that sounds familiar. Traffic Earth. Fab 1. Yeah, this from the original show, right? This guy? And then they made one for the really terrible remake of the movie, which was this. That looks like a render of it, though. This one? There we go. That's the more modern Fab 1. I wouldn't drive it. I mean, I would drive it, but I would drive it tongue-in-cheek and not in seriousness. I don't know. I like sleeker or meatier, if you know what I mean. Like meaty tires can climb over stuff. Or slick and smooth, baby. Two-seater. Me and a girl. More likely me and the dog. With the top down. Driving around. Having a good time. But yeah. Sweet ride. I would definitely take a picture of it if I saw it. That's for sure. Okay. I'm at 5 o'clock now. I've got an hour and a half, monkey. And you have not gotten a treat. And we've not gone for a walk. We still need to go for a walk. Which basically means I go mow the lawn and you sit here and stare at me. That sound like a plan? We'll do a show tomorrow. And my guess is there'll be more weirdness to talk about tomorrow. I hope you folks have a great day. I will catch you on the flip side. By all means, always ask me more rock questions. I love answering them. And you guys have a great day. That work? Yeah? Okay. We'll do the over and out here. Boink. I feel like I'm wearing a child's hat right now. And I was a grown man when I had this hat.